All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Katie Domrat. I am the Adult Programs Coordinator here at the VMFA. Thank you so much for joining us today for the May 3 and 30 elevation. It is my pleasure today to introduce the VMFA's Curator of African Art, Dr. Ndubuisi Ezeluomba. He is going to speak today about 3 objects in the African art collection. So Ndi, I am going to pass it off to you.
Welcome, everybody. Let me share my screen. Good morning once again. Welcome to 3 in 30 minutes conversation. And we are going to be talking about the topic or the theme of elevation. Elevation is actually tied around the whole idea of social elevation in communities in African cultures. It is very vital. I don't know if it only concerns African culture that an individual strives to grow through the social ladder during the course of their lifetime. I think our modern situation also points to that expectation. We all strive to become the best in what we do. We all strive to make, gain a lot of resources that will help complement our social expectations from time to time. And that is the whole idea that is, embedded with this knowledge about, elevation in many African cultures. In front of you this morning, although the title says unknown, and later says seated woman, 19th to 20th century, this figure is called Anjanu. Anjanu was made by Idoma artist in central Nigeria. Anjanu, as a name, hacks into a bigger idea of water spirit veneration. Many other African cultures have ideas about water spirit veneration. And I believe even more generally, the name Mami Wata has become so popularized that everybody know about that word, Mami Wata. They are all these, connections with water. And for those who study water or who theorize water as an aspect of their research, we have come to the knowledge that water has been the fount through which different kinds of things are being sent across. So even before the aircraft came into being, or even the automobile, the first form of transportation moving around the globe was through water. And then when another culture meets another continent meets another continent, I think that such meetings happen through water connection. Even when Christopher Columbus crossed over from Europe to the New World, they actually crossed the Atlantic, and that was the water. So, Anjanu has all this connection with water, and I think water actually forms that basis, forms that beginning, forms the very starting point of this whole story about social elevation in African culture. Anjanu, as a water spirit, is being venerated by a lot of people, predominantly female, who are out there consciously looking for the ability to procreate, to create the next generation when one generation is getting to the peak of their time in the community. So, a lot of devotees of Anjanu, they expect that Anjanu will bless them with all these wonderful things: wealth, health, materiality, even children. And so the journey through social elevation cannot even be thought of without the story of a woman being able to procreate. So this sculpture, for instance, shows this very virile woman, very strong and bold, staring at you. Looks as if she's now ready to embark on that journey of procreation. Because it is when the woman creates that we have the individual that everybody looks up to, that is going to rise through that social ladder to attain the highest height that society expects of him or her. And so we're going away from Angela. So this is a lady now. So we are now at that point where the journey of procreation is about to begin. And then we are going to walk away from Angenu and go to another figure, another figurative sculpture that also sits with, that actually concretize what we are trying to explain here. And that figure becomes this mother and child that was made by Akan artists from Ghana. When we get to this figure, we now see a very carefully walked, seated figure that is carrying a little child on her lap. You know, that this one now signifies the birth of a newborn. At this point, a newborn has come to join us in the community. And upon this newborn is where the whole concept of social elevation now begins to manifest. I am not going to speak to the very deeper spiritual side where people have to negotiate their destinies in the realm of the spirits before they manifest on earth. And also when through the course of their journey on earth, they are not able to meet up to those to those agreements they had in the spirit realm. They are not able to become ancestors, I believe, and they are made to reincarnate and come back and keep on trying until they get it right. That is not what we are talking about. But this image of this mother and child, signals the beginning of the individual. So the coming to the world of this young person. When a newborn comes to the world, they are greeted with, a lot of celebration, happiness. There is this air of celebration everywhere a young person has been born. But, deep down, it's not about the birth, but about the expectations that a society or community places on that newborn. They expect that because every child is expected to, be the flagship, be the most, or, be somebody that will be very renowned and, kind of, help elevate or project the community from where they come out. And also, community is also very participatory. That's why many African culture, you hear that the community or the village raised the child. It's not just the immediate nuclear family. So when this newborn comes to the community or to the village or to the people, and after all that pomp and pageantry has been undergone, the journey begins and the child begins to grow. Every step of the child's life, every step, like there are every so often the child is supposed to elevate from one level to the next. And in the course of elevating from that level to the next level, they have to undergo a rites of passage. This is a very heavily ritual activity that will guarantee and secure for the child that they have successfully finished one cadre and they are moving to the next. And always that movement, that rites of passage is not antithetical. It is actually going up. So, a child grows up to 9 years old. When they are getting to 10 years old, they are being initiated into another whole level of knowledge-based knowledge system and the way to do things. And when they grow up to a certain teenage age, they also go to another rite of passage that launches them to that realm of people who are now called like youth in the community. They grow up to, in their 20s or more, they are also initiated into another level that speak to that. and so forth and so on until they, get to the peak of their, social elevation in the community. This doesn't happen to only the male child. I think it also happens to the female child. At every point in time, the female child also undergoes that. I think one of the most common of female rites of passages is that stage where the female child is taken away from community and taken to a school or a ritual house where they are being educated about how to raise a family, raise a next generation, how to run the whole family thing. So in a nutshell, there is all from this little kind of reconstruction I'm trying to do, you will see how active the process is for this newborn to grow up in the society. So because of the effort that the community puts into making sure that everything works out for this for this newborn, they complement that by working hard to meet that for which society expects of them. So this child now grows up and begins to fight their way through. They go sometimes, in our modern day, they go to kindergarten, and then they go to elementary school, and they go to middle school, and they go to high school, and go to college, and then come out, or even go higher than college, and then find a spot. Or some of them can even decide to go do business. And then all the expectation is that they make the best out of any situation that they choose to undergo. So social elevation does not necessarily mean that everybody must be king for you to say that you have attained a very high social status in society. People can become very famous or very popular as those that makes the king robe. This is a very high position because not everybody are called upon to make robes for a king. Some people can be very successful in their academic pursuit. That also signifies a very high social status. Some people will make it very big in business. And we know that a lot of billionaires in the globe today, in one way or the other, they have businesses around them. In the news today, there is this French guy or this French family who Forbes have told us that he has now become the most richest guy on earth with the number of billions that he has. So all this idea is what kind of feed into this social elevation. So this little child born now start undergoing that, and then grow and grow and grow and grow to the point where he actualizes that expectation that it's the society or the community expect from him. At that point, when he gets there, I can imagine how happy that little child will be. And so the third image that I'm going to bring up on my slide is no longer going to be a figurative work where I show figures like the first one that was Anjanu, and the second one, this object here. I am now going to bring something that is non-figurative. This time around, I'm going to bring a garb, a regalia, and that does not only symbolize or signifies the person of the Yoruba king, but that is what I am using as an indicator to explain this whole idea of social elevation. So this beaded robe is a Yoruba beaded robe, and in Yoruba culture, this beaded robe is called Abada Ileke, which is the beaded robe for the king. I'm using this robe to signify the height that the individual can get in the society. King, in some cultures, is not open for contestation. Kingship, in some cultures, it has a line of family where it runs through, and that family holds it. They don't open it up for competition. But among the Yoruba, kingship was not tied to only one family. which means that, you know, it's rather a democratic type of monarchy, whereby at some point an individual can actually vie for and become king in the Yoruba context. The first image I showed, Anjanu, the people, the Idoma people, where Anjanu come from, they also almost have that same kind of system, because they have the Ochi Idoma. The Ochi Idoma is the king of Idoma land. The Ochi does not belong to just one lineage. I think the Ochi is also like a democratic thing, whereby when one family finishes, another family can vie for and become the next Ochi of Idoma. So, you know, it's same as that of the Yoruba people. So this regalia or this garb or this king robe, for instance, now signifies that height that everybody that sets out on that journey, this you know, reggae musicians would say on a spiritual journey. When they go through that journey, this is the expectation. This is the height. This is the height of your attainment. So it's like getting to the peak of your achievement here on earth. And no other object can actually accommodate that idea of, you know, speaking about the highest social attainment that any individual can aspire to in many cultures. And when they get to this point, it is assumed that they have achieved and kind of carried out especially what was expected of them, even from the spirit realm. That is when, at the end of the life of a very high status individual in many African cultures, the expectation is that they now, when they pass on and get to the realm of the spirit, they transmogrify and then they become ancestors. So you know, ancestors are actually, in the Christian parlance, is the deification of these highly placed individuals in society. So that is the whole idea of social elevation in African cultures. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll be ready for questions now.
Great, thank you so much, Andy. We only have one question in the Q&A as of right now. So if anybody else has any other questions, please feel free to type them in. The first question relates to the first piece, Andy. Someone asked who this figure is.
Okay, I think the person asked about the spelling, right?
Yes.
The spelling, should I spell it out or should I write it out? Okay, let me type an answer. Anjanu is spelled, can they see that? Can they see the spelling?
Yes.
Okay, that is the spelling of Anjanu. And then who is she? I think I spoke a little bit about Anjanu. And Anjanu is a water spirit among the Idoma people of central Nigeria. And because water spirit has all this connection with fertility, with birth, growth, wealth, and everything, that is why the Idoma people thought it necessary to represent that that deity with the sculpture of a seated female. But also Anjanu here was used because of, you know, its youthfulness, which signifies her preparedness to embark upon that journey of, you know, procreation. So it starts from a young lady who is now ready to go into that business of, you know, procreating the next generation, before we now move to the seated baby and child, mother and child figure from Ghana, to show when the newborn is launched into the community.
Great, thanks, Andy.